Hold on one second. Yeah, Vitalik, yeah. So Simpson Thatcher, my old boss, has now called me up and they're gonna pay me $15 million to say ETH is not a security, but I don't know nothing about it. And everyone at the agency says don't do it. But you know what though? I need to talk to you about why ETH is not a security. Can you enlighten me? What the is going on? You're calling Vitalik to ask him? Come on, people. You don't know what a security is and what's a non-security? It's called the Howey test, Mr. Hinman and Mr. Clayton. That's next on OG Crypto and NFTs. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going over the scam the SEC is. Yes, I know it's not a Gary Gensler day because Gary Gensler just took the torch and ran with it. But this is where the beginning of the hell that crypto has gone through for the past 5 years began, because everyone believed a scammer. All right, guys. So before we jump into this, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. We are going to get into deep and dirty Hinman emails. Let's jump into it. This is from Decrypt. What's in the SEC Hinman emails, and do they really help Ripple? So I think they do on two different accounts. Number one, Ripple had met with former SEC commissioners as well as Jay Clayton and Bill Hinman. None of them gave them any type of notice that they were having an issue of Ripple being a security at any point. So the Fair Notice of Act is going to be very, very strong. If this Judge Torres wants to address it, fantastic. Other than that, they have already said they want to go to a jury trial, and it doesn't make any sense. If you showed up 6, 7, 8 times at the SEC and met with them and asked them, hey, can you take a look and do analysis on our token, whether it's a commodity or security, and if it is a security, what do we need to do to take it off that designation? Didn't get any of that. Okay. Second is that if you go into the emails themselves, it shows that Bill Hinman, who didn't know anything about this space, which is fairly comical, that he had drafted emails of his speech, and several different agencies within the SEC said, hey, you know, the securities laws are based upon the Howey test in the 1930s and 40s, and you need to stick along those lines. Well, Hinman kept ignoring those requests, and he decided to call Vitalik and ask them, okay, so if it isn't following the Howey test, where do we make this sound like it's not a security? So with that being said, there is nothing in the speech that parallels what Gary Gensler is saying today and what the prior security laws are. There's nothing in that says Ethereum should be classified as a commodity and not a security. So they didn't use the same, and let's go jump into the next article here. They did not use the same analysis that they sued Ripple on, that the Howey test was prevailing law over security. They didn't use that with Ethereum because Bill Hinman just didn't know and didn't care. He, at the time, was being paid by Simpson Thatcher while his tenure at the SEC. He got paid $15 million, which the ethics office told him, stop having conversations with Simpson Thatcher, stop having emails with Simpson Thatcher, stop taking money from Simpson Thatcher. It's breaking ethics rules. Bill Hinman said, I'm bigger than that. I can continue to do that. And these show that instead of him informing his own opinion, he went to the market maker, which he said later in his speech he didn't. And he asked them directly why they felt that they were not a security when he didn't use security laws. It is an absolute breach of ethics. It then opens up the conspiracy theory and makes it fact that this is an Ethereum ETH gate issue. Let's jump into it. Brian Costello, who was being retweeted by Digital Asset Investor, says Hinman's motive behind proving Ethereum clarity was to benefit his law firm. His law firm was connected, Simpson Thacher, with the Ethereum Alliance and the Ethereum Foundation. They were before Bill Hinman was there, then he went to the SEC, and then after, they still were. So when Bill Hinman left the SEC and resigned in April of 2020, where did he go? He went on several boards of Ethereum Foundation companies, as well as he went back to Simpson Thacher, who was on there. So this looks like, I mean, it reeks and smells of him being paid off to help the firm out. They were making more money, and who knows how many people within the SEC knew that Bill Hinman was going to do this. How many of them just longed Ethereum, knowing that he was going to manipulate the market off his speech? Let me continue with that. Let's go back. Let me go continue with it. It says, the ETH clarity would generate significant fees for his firm and associates on Wall Street. Remember this Chris Lin, Simpson Thacher meeting. He met with Chris Lin in China when he brought on the Chinese mining companies that were going public in the United States. So they raised money in the United States for mining companies for Bitcoin and Ethereum here later after the speech. So it also helped him in a different form, getting those money sent into those Chinese mining companies. Now, obviously, those mining companies were shut down by the Chinese when they declared all crypto being illegal in China. But if you look back, Bill Hinman and Jay Clayton brought these mining companies, as well as Alibaba, who were Chinese companies. They brought in a ton of American money to get those things off the ground. Why would you do that? Why would you help Chinese companies? And now you're connecting them with crypto, and then it connects back to your law firm, which connects all to Ethereum. All right, let's go with Stuart Alderati. Said he is the legal counsel of Ripple. They were prepared for this day. Let's go back to June 14th. This is a quick video. I'm going to go over about a minute or two. It's so damning. It's ridiculous. Let's play it.
2018, then SEC Director of Corporation Finance William Hinman gave a high-profile speech where he declared that a token is not a security when it becomes, quote, sufficiently decentralized.
Okay, so let's stop right there. He says that it's not a security if it's quote unquote centrally decentralized. He couldn't even give the definition of decentralized in his speech, nor does any rule or any law regarding commodities and securities mention decentralization whatsoever. So again, you're making words up off the top of your head, or you're hearing just keywords and you're just going to utilize them thinking that it sounds smarter than you actually look. And that changed the market. Of anyone who manipulated the market while being there for 18 months. Number one, in 2018, he decided to go ahead and give Ethereum and Bitcoin a free pass, which skyrocketed the crypto markets. Market manipulation one. Then when he actually left the SEC and then came back to vote on Ripple being a security, as well as Ripple being Ripple's CEO at Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson, selling off securities called XRP tokens. He came back and then he turned around and he manipulated the market by dropping the lawsuit with Jay Clayton. That SEC lawsuit, what happened to that SEC lawsuit? It caused $15 billion worth of market cap to Ripple as well as XRP holders, and it really destroyed what the people that they were supposed to protect, the retail investor. So all they did was hurt the retail investor and manipulate the markets. It's so friggin' clear. Now, let's go over the quote of the day, the tweet of the day. It is by LBRY. So LBRY, to back it up here, lost to the SEC, and because they ran out of money. Otherwise, they would have continued. They lost. They tapped out. But John Deaton got the judge to at least say that secondary sales were not securities. But here's what LBRY said today. I think it's very comical. It says, really regretting that we didn't bribe the SEC like Ethereum did. Boom. If you get a chance to bribe government officials, please do it. It's worth every fucking penny. Now, some of you think it's parody, but then what does they say? This is a completely serious tweet, by the way. Cryptocurrency is official. Cryptocurrency in the U.S. would be even worse place without the Ethereum SEC corruption. My God, what is happening here? What a joke, man. This has turned into a complete babbling idiots that we sound like here at the SEC. We need Congress to act, and as long as a blue team's in place, the blue team wants nothing to do with it. Elizabeth Warren is protecting her buddies, the big financial buddies like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Vanguard, BlackRock, so they can destroy this market. And when they destroyed it as much as they possibly can, you're going to see the greatest amount of money come into this space, because we all know this is a technology that is going to take over the world. And they want their buddies over at Vanguard or JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, or Citibank or whatever. They want them to scoop up the majority of the lion's share. So that would explode the price, and they would be able to control the market just like they do in the financial markets. All right. Let's jump into the last article here. SEC temporarily restraining order would effectively end Binance US business, company claims. Well, basically, CZ and the lawyers have just basically said, here, you take the keys over on Binance US, which would just freeze everybody out, get your money off exchanges. This, especially on Binance US, they're just going down, and they're going down hard. Their big fight is after their own exchange. I know that the SEC is trying to get that exchange, their assets frozen there. Now that's out of the country. They're going to have a bunch of different sets of arguments there, or hardships. But one thing they want to do is they want to cut off all USD money, and all banks in the United States, they want to cut them off of getting any kind of money sit into Binance, so it kind of squeezes them. Now, am I saying that Binance is right or wrong? I think Binance is wash trade. I think Binance is in bed with Tether. Tether is probably the most notoriously bad actor in our space, and I can't believe Gary Gensler's not going after him. But then again, who was in the Bahamas and had offices right next to FTX? It was Tether. So I wouldn't put it past Tether. They had something to do with the blue team, because this would be the number one asset you would go after, besides Binance. You'd go after UST, because they continue to mint UST and show they have nothing back it by. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I know it's been a crazy day. I know the things I didn't talk about is on the Hill right now. They're talking about digital assets. Warren Davidson's there. Tom Emmer's there. They're going over how the SEC and regulations in the United States is stifling innovation, and it needs to stop. But again, while you have the blue team in place, and we all believe that Bib Joe Biden is not capable of stopping crypto, because he's not even in charge of his own fluidly functions. Let's be very frank. Guys, you take care. I will see you tomorrow. We'll go over that article.